Okay, this is a good little jump section with some good kind of G out turns. Got my 12-year-old son in front of me there. Oh, I don't have quite enough speed to really boost that. Yeah, I mean, it kind of, you can move it around kind of like a normal mountain bike, which is really nice. Nice, right? Yeah, like, woo! Sick, buddy. I mean, it feels, I would say it feels the most like a regular mountain bike of any e-bike I've ridden. That Moterra SL feels really good too, and oddly enough, they have pretty similar geometry. Cooking, dude, that was fun. Nice. Oh yeah, that's fun. This fork has gotten better every ride. At first it felt like it had way too much rebound. Slowed it down, ended up speeding it back up after yesterday's ride actually, but bike feels good. I don't know that it necessarily feels like a Yeti SB140. I don't think it necessarily does. This bike's probably going to be more fun than any of the other bikes I've ridden as far as e-bikes go. Yeah. Yeti has a new e-bike. It couldn't have come at a better time because I have been a little sick. Not like a flu or anything, but like my heart's not working well. So my doctor said, maybe you need to take a break for a little bit, which was good because I've got the Cannondale Moterra at my house right now. Now I have the new Yeti MTe, which is super rad. I am not like your quintessential like e-bike guy. I don't know all the nerdy e-bike stuff, but I've been riding a lot of them lately. I really like them, and this one rides more like a mountain bike, kind of like that Cannondale Moterra. So it's like a, I don't know if it's a short travel, like a smaller one, but it is light. It's like 43 pounds. And this has a battery of 580 watt hours and a TQ60 drive unit motor, which I've never ridden the TQ before. I think they come in Treks and maybe some other bikes, but now Yeti has the TQ battery, excuse me, not battery, but the motor. And I gotta tell you, it's the least intrusive drive unit when you're out on the trail. Like most e-bikes, when you're on them, you definitely know you're on an e-bike. You feel like the motor and the power kind of jolt through, and like you'll start to pedal a little bit and you'll feel the engine, the motor just like engage and really lurch forward. And this doesn't really do that. In fact, some of the time I was like, didn't even really think about the fact that I was on an e-bike because I'm just pedaling along with my friends or with my kids, and it's pretty chill. So we're going to talk about how this bike actually rides, what it feels like out on the actual trail during an actual ride. That way you can have an idea if this is the right bike for you. I picked up this bike from Salt Cycles in Sandy, Utah. They're a Yeti dealer. I've also ridden their larger Yeti e-bike. I've ridden the Pivot Shuttle SL, which is kind of in this category. I think it has a smaller battery and a slightly smaller motor. And then most recently I was riding the Cannondale Moterra. In fact, I still have it at my house. I rode it yesterday. And the Moterra has a kind of similar feel to this. Those two bikes I would say are the most, just feel like you're out on a regular pedal out on a trail. So stick around. We're going to talk about who this bike's for, kind of what I thought it rode like, and I'm going to talk about all the little things, like what the screen's like, what it's like to actually charge it, all that kind of stuff today. Again, I picked up this bike from Salt Cycles. They are the sponsor of today's video. Without them, I couldn't make videos like this, so I really appreciate it. Okay, the little things that you don't think about. The screen. This is the TQ screen, is by far the nicest screen of any of the e-bikes I've ridden so far. It is kind of built into the top tube here, really sleek. It looks like it belongs there, where some of them are kind of janky. They're like hanging off your handle, like the Shimano one, for example, on that Cannondale. It's kind of just hanging there. It's kind of, I don't know, not great. This is very nice. The other thing that I've complained about multiple times on different e-bikes is they give you 5 bars. And the light turns off on 1 bar until you have 1 bar left. So it's kind of like 20%, 40%, 60, 80, 100% of battery juice left, right? Well, when you get down to 1 bar, it would be really nice to know, do I have 4% battery life left, or do I have 20 or 19%? That makes a big difference. 20%, keep having fun. 4%, get your butt home. That's what we need to know. Well, the TQ little screen right here, mine says 51% right now. And earlier it said 78 and 64 and blah, blah, blah. I always know how much battery life I have left. That's pretty important. It also tells you more stuff. You can cycle through here. It tells you how much watts you're putting out, how much watts the bike is putting out, what your speed is, what your cadence is, all that kind of stuff. Other things is over here on the non-drive side of the bike is where you plug in the battery cable to power this baby up when it's dead. This is easily the nicest to plug in. It plugs in and stays plugged in very easy. You don't have to like find where the little pins are to plug it in. It just pops right in. It's very easy. And then the little cap that covers it, it just flaps right down nice and easy. The reason why I mentioned the cap is because you're going to be plugging this bike in if you end up buying an e-bike all the time. You know, almost after every ride, you'll probably plug it in, right? And it should be pretty intuitive and easy. And then the cap should flap down pretty easy. This one does. Okay, so this is the same suspension style that the other, I don't know why I can't remember the name of the other Yeti e-bike. The larger Yeti e-bike has, and it's the Sixfinity, I guess 6-bar thing. They can't do the switch infinity on it because they got to put that drive unit motor down there, that TQ motor. And I'm going to talk more about that TQ motor, so don't go away just yet. But the suspension in the rear felt awesome. Don't know what else to tell you. It felt really good out on the trail. It was easy to set up too. This fork, for some reason, gave me a little bit more trouble. And it took a couple rides to kind of get that fork feeling just right and find some comfort out on the trail. But once I got the suspension dialed, I really felt comfortable descending on this bike. All the braking bumps and chattery sections of trail just kind of disappear. It's 145 millimeters of travel in the rear with a Float X shock. Fox 36 up front, 160 millimeters. I'm on a size medium. I'm 5'8", 145 pounds. 460 reach, really long chain stays. That Cannondale Moterra has long chain stays too, and it wasn't terrible. The head tube angle is 64 degrees. It's kind of slack, but you know, it's fine. It didn't wander too much. That Cannondale Moterra tend to wander a little bit more on the climbs than this bike, especially through tight switchbacks. That Cannondale has a little cup spacer in the headset that you can flip around and make it 63.7, which is pretty similar to this. Anyway, the bike overall felt good. The reach doesn't feel too big at 460 on a size medium. It felt good. 77-degree seat tube angle is pretty steep. Pretty common today. You know, it's what, June of 2025? It's kind of a modern trail bike here, you know. Let's talk about the battery. So I'm at 51% right now. And since my last charge, I have done moving time out on my rides, 3 hours and like 4 minutes, and I'm at 51%. Again, I'm 5'8", 145 pounds. I know I'm kind of like the size of most like freshman girls, but you know, you might use up the battery a little bit more if you're heavier than me or if you're riding a little bit harder. I wasn't like hammering super hard all the time necessarily. But that 580 watt-hour battery, I think, has got plenty of juice to keep up with any of your friends who have the bigger, full-size, 55-pound e-bikes. The TQ motor. This is what we've been waiting to talk about this whole review. I hope you didn't click off this video too soon because this is what is important to talk about. It's the first time I've ridden a TQ drive unit motor. And I've ridden the Shimano's and the Bosch and the Fazua. This is, without question, the quietest that I've experienced and the least intrusive. I do not know how best to describe this to the viewer, but most e-bikes, when you're on them, you just feel them jolting, which is it's not annoying to feel the jolt of the other e-bikes. It's kind of expected. It's an e-bike, you know, that's what it does. This one feels so smooth. I don't know what the transmission is in this drive unit, but it's different for sure. It just doesn't switch on and off and lurch you forward and click on and off as much as other, like the Shimano and the Bosch and the other ones, right? It just feels so intuitive, like it just, like very natural feeling like when you're pedaling along, which is very nice. The downside of it, so what's the negative? Well, overall, I'd say it's positive. I think I would personally maybe pick this probably over other drive units, other motors, but it also sometimes feels like it's not fully engaging. Like you'll go up a hill and you kind of come down another one before another one, and as you kind of get off the pedals, or not off the pedals, but your cadence isn't so, you don't have so much torque on the pedals. That's what I was looking for. When you have less torque on the pedals, you can feel the motor not disengage, but like withdraw the amount of watts that it's producing. It's very sophisticated. It feels more sophisticated out on the trail than the other ones. I don't think it has as much power. Again, this is a TR60, so it has 60, is it Newton meters? Man, I'm the worst at this e-bike stuff. I think it's Newton meters of power. Anyway, the Cannondale I've been riding a lot has 85. It definitely feels more powerful. And it has a 601 watt-hour battery. But, you know, I don't think I'm getting any more time riding until battery's dead on the Cannondale than I am on this. This battery lasts a long time. I'm very impressed with it. So yeah, it's probably the most natural feeling climbing, pedaling, using the motor. Once you descend and start going downhill, it doesn't feel heavy and a real heavy swing weight or anything like that. What else can I tell you about the bike? It is mullet compatible, although mine is 29er front and rear. You can put, there's a flip chip in the back, you can flip it. It doesn't change the geometry at all, and you can throw a smaller wheel out back. That Cannondale Moterra has the 27.5 wheel size in the back. I'm comparing this a lot to the Cannondale because they're both kind of these lighter weight, mid-sized e-bikes. They're not the full-on big ones, and they're not the little teeny SLs. They've got good-sized batteries, plenty of torque in the motor. For me, again, I'm 145 pounds. I might not be the best person to be telling you that it's powerful because there's not a ton of weight that it has to carry. Anyway, I really enjoyed riding this week. I have to take it back to Salt Cycles. Anyway, comments and questions down below. I'd be happy to answer them as quick as I can. Chris at Salt Cycles has the new MTe in stock. That TQ motor is dead quiet and plenty of power, and it's just silky smooth. That's what I should have said a long time ago. It's just so smooth compared to the other Shimano, Bosch, and Fazua motors that I've used in the past. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys. All right, go for it, right, guy? Okay, more jumps, little jumps. These aren't like super big. Yeah, like that jump right there is one where it's not a full-on hip jump, but like you have to kind of move the bike up into the landing. And this bike is easy to move. Can't believe how fast my daughter has gotten this year. Normally we're waiting for her quite a bit on the downhills. She's super fast in the uphills, but doesn't have as much speed on the downhill as Ryan and I. Yeah, this bike's so fun. It's fun to ride it kind of fast with Ryan today too. Woo! Sick. That was fun. The rear end feels really good. I got the suspension on the rear really good. It's what, Floatex shock back here. And that feels really good. The fork has been a little bit more of a struggle. Geometry feels good on a size medium. Elan's on her Yeti ASR, her race bike. How'd you get so fast?
I don't know, can we do baby rush again? I want to hit the gap.
You want to hit the gap?
I was so close that time.
You just gotta follow Ryan. And what you do is, as long as you can grease the step downs with him, the same speed, but you want to give him like 2 bike lengths at least, because he'll slow up in the air just a little bit because he'll pop more than you. And so you will go lower and faster over the gap than him. I always do that. I always roll into him because he kind of pops up higher.
Yeah. Can we do it again?
Of course. Yeah, let's go do it. We're gonna do baby rush. You just gotta grease those downhills and don't be too,
greased it that time.
and just don't be too tight on him.
I know. I looked at it and I was like, oh, I can do that.
It'll feel a little bit like a jump, but not as much as the other jumps. It won't have as much kick as the, you know, the first jump into baby rush?
Yeah.
That table?
That was kicky.
That's kicky. So you're just, hey, Elin, you're just gonna pressure into that lip. Pressure your feet into that lip so your bike still pops a little bit. All right. Looks like this is happening. I'm a little surprised to hear it actually. Nice. Yeah, clean. Speed. More speed. Go. Yeah, Elin. How was it?
It was bigger than it looked once I hit it.
How was it?
That was good.
Are you nervous?
Yeah, it scared me.
That was awesome.